Hi everyone, it's Rax bringing you another Diablo Immortal video where we are going to explore what are the rarest and best things that you're actually looking for in the game and how are you going to get them, or is it really even possible to get them as a free-to-play player. So one thing that I'd like to put as a disclaimer, Diablo Immortal and Blizzard, they change the game all the time. They change it from the tech alpha to the beta, and I'm sure they'll change it again by launch. So remember, don't take any super specific details that I give in this video to heart. Instead, focus on the overlaying ideas for what you're going to be looking for. So let's start off with understanding what exactly does like a final character look like, right? Okay, why am I not coloring? I wanted to color green. Okay, so first of all, on the left side of your character sheet, you're going to have your 6 set items, right? So that's one thing, set items. The next thing is you're going to have your legendaries. There are 6 of those as well. Okay, so we have our legendaries. By the way, feel free to notice and appreciate how godly I am at paint. I'm pretty much Michelangelo over here. So you have your legendaries, right? That you're going to be hunting for. Then you have your charm. And finally, you have your normal gems. No, they'll just be socketed in here. They're different colors. Okay, but you have your normal gems. And then you have your legendary gems. And those are going to be socketed over here. Okay? So that pretty much constitutes your character's power in terms of items. Now, let's talk about which of these actually really matter and which of them really don't. Currently in the game, in the alphas and in the betas, charms were an absolute joke. Okay? So you don't really have to focus on this. Of course, now that I've said that, when the game releases, they'll do a total overhaul of it and charms will be the most important thing in the game. We'll see. But all I can do is tell you from what I've played in the game, charms, the amount of effort and time that you put in for what you get out of it to get like plus 2% damage on your whirlwind skill is absolutely not worth it. So currently in the game, we're not, and in this video, we're not going to talk about charms. Another thing that doesn't matter too much are normal gems, okay? You get them by running layers, you rank them up. If you have rank 3 normal gems and someone has rank 5 normal gems, does that make a big difference? Not really, okay? So those are out. Legendaries are important. They are. But you'll be able to find them. But there is something extremely rare. The best thing you can find is a triple stat legendary. And this is what we're going to talk about a bit in a second. This is absolutely something that you are going to be looking for all the time. It's going to be Christmas morning when you finally find one, and we'll see why. The set items are important. Now, I am almost certain that they are going to change the way that set items are acquired and how they work, and there's going to be new set items. So we're not going to focus on the specifics, but we need to understand where to get set items so you can complete your set and dominate. So these are important, and our triple stat legendaries are important. And then probably by a mile, the most important thing are your legendary gems, and we'll talk about that last. So that's the itemization. Charms, not going to talk about it. They sucked in the alpha and the beta. Maybe they'll be good on launch. We'll see what happens. Normal gems, you'll level them up yourself. Let's start with set items. So set items do not drop until you reach the max level and you unlock Hell 1. By the way, you'll notice I'm going to use Maxroll for all of these guides. Maxroll has a bunch of amazing content creators like EchoHack, Lexi, Greg, Dreadscythe, Lee. My God, I hope I didn't forget anybody. Woody was on the team for a while. I led the team for a long time. Everybody on the Immortal team is fantastic. So you reach max level, you get to 60, and the basic thing to understand here is set items drop in dungeons, okay? You run around, you clear dungeons. Do they drop all the time? No. And that's a good thing, right? If they just rain from the sky, it would be like Diablo 3. It would be very annoying. But you're going to want to run dungeons for your set items. Now, in every single guide, we'll cover all the different class guides. There's a certain set that you're going to be looking for. For example, the class that I'm going to main in the game is the Demon Hunter. And Demon Hunters love the War Rags of Shalbas, however you say that. This is going to increase your primary damage by 15%, and the primary attack speed increases with each consecutive hit up to 25%. Demon Hunters are the primary attack gods of Diablo Immortal. So this set for us is amazing. Currently, how it works is you can get three of the 6 sets by playing in Hell 1 difficulty. That's just when you hit the max level 60. And when you get a little bit more powerful, then you can go to Hell 2 and farm dungeons and finalize the rest of your set. Are these set bonuses going to stay exactly the same? Are you going to be able to farm it exactly like this? Are they going to drop in specific dungeons or not? That information changes all the time. So even if I would tell you how it works now, it's probably going to change on launch. The main thing to understand is set items drop in dungeons when you're at the max level. You will want to study your class and study which set you're looking for and start to go after it. All right? So that is set items covered. Now let's talk about legendaries. There's a couple things to understand here. So first of all, every legendary has a specific power to it, right? Like multi-shot does 10% more damage, or multi-shot now freezes the enemies, or multi-shot now lights them on fire, right? And, let's just make up a number. Let's say there's 60 legendary powers for every class. One of the first things that you want to do with legendaries is find all of the legendary powers. You can take them into town, into the essence transfer, and then you're going to be able to use them whenever you want to, right? You can use all the powers for PvE or PvP. This won't be too hard for you to do, to get most of them. There are zone events like the Ancient Arena that guarantee you a legendary every 3 hours, I believe, as long as you can win. Winning is easier said than done. They drop in dungeons, they drop wherever you play. So getting the legendary powers is not exactly the problem. You'll get them. You get them from the battle pass, even the free path. As you gain Paragon levels, you will start to notice that you will get better loot. When a legendary drops, when you're a very low level, it might give you like plus 14 strength and plus 18 willpower. Right? Now, these individual stats matter somewhat, right? Some of the stats give you damage. Some of the stats give you armor pen, which I believe is critical hit chance or damage. They said it was one, and they changed it to the other. Critical hit something. And some of them, I think vitality gives you health. It does in some way matter which stats that you get, right? Some of the stats are better than the others. But the real thing that matters is just the volume of stats. The volume here makes a huge difference because each one of these stat points gives you offensive rating, defensive rating, which is the best stat in the game. I have heard a rumor that they may rename this to combat rating, which is 1,000 times better. So if you see combat rating on live, that's what this is. So this low-level legendary would give me like plus 32 stats, right? It gives me plus 32 ORDR. This is super important for PvE. It's capped in PvP. I think you can only go plus or minus 10% of an ORDR of somebody else in PvP. But in PvE, the monsters are going to have like, 3,200 ORDR. And you need to surpass this amount to start to really farm this tier, for example. So the volume of stats really matters. As you gain Paragon points, you're going to notice that the legendaries that drop are just simply better. And then one day you might find one that has like plus 72 strength, and this one has plus 88 willpower, right? And you're starting to get way stronger. The absolute pot of gold at the end of the rainbow is finding a triple stat legendary. And what does that look like? Well, it looks something like this. Right here. Oops, I had it bookmarked right here. Look at this. 102 strength, 96 willpower, and 100 vitality. That is so much ORDR on one item. I can't even explain to you how powerful that makes you. You are going to be looking for these. They are extremely rare. So there are a couple things to understand about how to find one of these. First of all, your Paragon level has a huge influence in how good of items drop. So raising your Paragon level will help you. Another thing, like with any ARPG ever, is the volume of legendaries that you find gives you a better chance to get a triple stat legendary. If you're finding one legendary a day because you barely play, how many chances do you have to hit the jackpot here, right? But if you're finding 10 a day, then you're blasting. A lot of times you'll find them running dungeons or something like that. But the best way that I have ever seen to find this, an item like this in the game, is in the vault. Okay? And the vault is for the immortals. At the start of a week, and the immortals have this big, gigantic vault full of glorious treasure like this item, right? The shadows for the entire week try to raid that vault and steal the loot from the immortals, right? They're not trying to let the immortals get any stronger than they already are. At the end of the week, whatever loot the shadows did not steal, the immortals can bid on, and whoever contributed the most to the immortals gets first dibs. I remember when I became the immortal in the alpha, I was leading the immortals. At the end of the first week, there was only one triple stat legendary in the entire vault for any class, and luckily enough, it was for demon hunters, the class I was playing. So I made damn sure that I was the one that contributed the most to the immortals by doing the daily tasks. And at the end of the week, I had first pick, and I picked my beautiful triple stat legendary. I was one of the only people, I think, in the world who had one. And I got it from the Immortal Vault. So that's one thing to keep in mind, and it's one reason to want to become an immortal. You can see what's in the vault. You can try as hard as you possibly can to be #1 contributor for the immortals. You get first dibs on the loot at the end, and then you win. Obviously, another thing that's going to help you is to thwart the shadows who are trying to steal your stuff. Whenever you see the alarm go off that the shadows are raiding the vault, you need to get in there and kill them all so you can get your glorious loot. One more little strategy piece on this about the loot from the vault is you can see your contribution at the end of the week. If you are not in first place, let's say I got third, for example, you can very, very easily determine for your class what are the best pieces of loot. The triple stat legendary is the best piece. There's another triple stat legendary. It's not as good because it doesn't have as many stats on it, or maybe it has worse stats on it over here. And then there's a third triple stat legendary, and it really sucks compared to the other two. But I'm third in points. Bid on the third best item. I have a feeling the other immortal players are not going to be stupid. The guy with the most points is going to bid on the best one and win it. The guy with the second most points is going to bid on the second one. If you all bid on the first one and you don't pick your second and third correctly, then someone else might actually get the third best triple stat legendary and you might lose. I saw that happen all the time. So be intelligent with your bidding, and you can even talk to the person in first and second. Hey, bro, you're bidding on the best thing, right? Well, yeah, duh. Okay. You talk to the second guy. You're bidding on this thing, right? Because that other guy's got the best thing? Yeah. Oh, okay. You bid on the third thing. So you are going to be seeking triple stat legendaries. You need to increase your Paragon to have a higher chance. And you just need to play. You need to do a lot of dungeons, a lot of battle pass activities. You need to do the Ancient Arena every 3 hours. You need to win it. Ancient Arena is an arena in Bilefen. You go battle. It's a PvP battle. Sometimes it's over in 15 seconds. You're guaranteed a legendary. And then we already covered set items. We are going to get those in dungeons as well. Now here comes the bad news. Legendary gems. And legendary gems are the very, very pay-to-win aspect of Diablo Immortal. Now, for this particular video, I don't want to dive into all the pay-to-win stuff, right? So let's ignore that for now. But we need to talk about how we acquire legendary gems and how they work. So first of all, there are 3 kinds of legendary gems. There's 1 star, there's 2 star, and there's 5 star. As you can already imagine, the 5 star are 100 million times better than the 1 stars and the 2 stars. There are a couple of decent 1 star and 2 stars, but the 5 stars give you way more offense and defense rating, and they give you a much higher boost, a percentage boost to your stats. Okay? The best 5-star gems in the game give you a 50% boost to all items per legendary gem. So literally you could have this times 6 and get a 300% boost to your damage and your life. Okay? Now, there are some very unique and rare ways to get legendary gems. You can get them, like if you complete like the entire battle pass, they'll give you a legendary gem. I believe they give you Fervent Fang, and Fervent Fang is a fantastic gem. It's one of the best 2-star gems. So at least they give you that. And at the end, they give you a legendary crest. That's not what they look like, but we're going to make them triangles, I guess, in this video. A legendary crest, when you plug it, is guaranteed to give you a legendary. Guaranteed to get a legendary with a legendary crest. With a rare crest, it's just a chance. But there is very, very bad news. In the data mine that we've seen, you cannot get a 5-star legendary gem with a rare crest. You can't. And that is terrible, terrible news. Because legendary crests are extremely rare. Extremely. If you're a free-to-play player, the number of opportunities you will have to even acquire one is not common. And the chance for a 5-star gem to drop even when you plug it is not good. Now, there is a recipe to craft. There is a vendor to craft gems. And you cannot craft the 5-star legendary gems. But there is a gem to craft a random one. And from what I've heard, this could change on launch, but from what I know right now, the random recipe does have a chance to give you a 5-star legendary gem. And so the bonuses that they give are so insane. I feel like if you've got the materials, you have to try the random recipe if it can, in fact, give you a 5-star legendary gem. So there's really just not much good news here. The thing that you're seeking here are the 5-star legendary gems. They only come from legendary crests or the expensive random recipe. And your opportunities to get legendary crests are super minimal. There's like one at the end of the entire battle pass, one for beating the game. I don't know. You can also buy 5-star legendary gems off of the marketplace for platinum. You will get a small amount of platinum per day, I believe, as a free-to-play player, so you're going to have to stock it up for a long time, and then someone's going to have to sell a 5-star legendary gem on the auction house. I mean, I guess you could bank on that, but that's not a good bet. Not a good bet at all. And unfortunately, again, this is the pay-to-win aspect of Diablo Immortal. People can just buy legendary crests and just run them, and just stock up on legendary gems and have way more opportunities to get the 5 stars. All right, so let's just take a look here. Let's take a look at the some of the legendary gems here. Let me just show you a particularly bad 1-star gem. Here's all the 1-star gems. Some of them are decent. Everlasting Torment's probably the best one. Critical hits inflict agony. It does base damage. It's like a dot. Each enemy inflicted with agony gives you more attack speed. It gives you 5% magic find. Notice how it gives you 0.75% increased base attributes for your 1-star. And look at the 5-star ones. It can give you up to 5%. And that's at rank 1. They can go up to rank 10, and then you get 6 of them. That's where the 300% comes from. People are just gonna have way more damage in life than you, up to 300% more. Not quite 300 because you'll have these kind of leveled up, but let's say 200% more than you. It's a bit out of control. But a lot of these gems just suck. Look at Mocking Laughter. Your primary attack forces non-elite monsters it hits to attack you. It like makes you a tank or something. It's hard to understand how that would have any use in Diablo Immortal. Diablo Immortals usually just do as much damage as you can. And it decreases the damage you take by 1%. Wow. This is what we're going to be using, guys. Our 1-star gems. Then we go to the 2-star gems. They're a bit better. Fervent Fang is really good. Each time you make an attack against an enemy, it takes from your attacks. It gives you up to 7.5% increased damage to that monster. That's really good because the main thing that's tough to kill in this game are bosses, and this gem is really good against bosses. And it gives you just another 1.5% damage to elite monsters and gives you 10 MF, and it gives you more base attributes. Fervent Fang, I think, is given to you from the Battle Pass, so thank God. At least we're going to have that. Power and Command is really good for Demon Hunters. Using your primary attack, it gives you damage there. Then using the command gives you all other skill damage. Demon Hunters rotate between them all the time. So Power and Command is godly for us, right? But then we have the 5-star legendary gems. And these are the gems that really just bring upon death. So it's not just a function of the increase in attributes. It's not just a function of the increased offense and defense rating. It's the fact that the gems themselves are just 1,000 times better. Increases all damage you deal by 10%. Just straight up 10% more damage. That's already better than a max stack Fervent Fang. Movement speed by 10, and it gives you less of a bonus if you're low on life. So you just murder everything from a distance and you become a death machine. And then you take decreased damage and it gives you 15 MF. And this is just, the introductory 5-star gems. Of course, there will be more, and usually, in terms of mobile games, they get progressively more powerful as time goes on. A year or two from now, a blood-soaked jade might be considered a terrible gem. Right now, it's super godly. Then you have Seeping Bile. Seeping Bile. Attacks have a 5% chance to poison enemies, and this poison is crazy strong. And then the poison spreads once it dies. It just infects all the monsters. You make a huge clump of density in a challenge rift, and you have a Seeping Bile. It's so satisfying to see it just blow everything up. You're going to pray that you have this gem, but how are you going to get it exactly? I don't know. The poison slows enemies that can't even catch you anymore. I have a funny story about Howler's Call. In the alpha, I never got a Blood-Soaked Jade. I never got a Seeping Bile, but I did get a Howler's Call. Primary attacks have a 30% chance to summon a charging wolf. It does 100% damage to all enemies in its path. It essentially just attacks again. Can occur more often than once every 10 seconds and has a 25% chance to stun enemies. I was PvPing in the highest level. We had a godly team against a godly team. Everybody was brawling. And I went against a super powerful wizard. Her name was Z. And she was off of my screen. I didn't even know where she was, but I was shooting arrows down a hallway where I thought some enemies would be. My Howler's Call, my wolf, came out of my Demon Hunter and ran down the hallway, and it one-shot her. I one-shot a top-tier wizard off-screen 100-0 with a legendary gem. With this gem. I mean, I laughed so hard. I have to get the clip on Twitch or something. I laughed so hard where I killed her off-screen with the Howler's Call. So these gems are crazy. I heard in the beta that they might have nerfed Howler's Call. Okay, fine. It was too powerful, but it still sounds pretty damn good to me. So anyway, that's kind of the bad news of the whole situation is really for the stats, for the ORDR, and for the legendary powers themselves, you really need 5-star legendary gems. You can only get them with legendary crests, which you'll pretty much never get. Complete the battle pass, complete the game. Other than swiping the credit card, I don't know how you're going to get them. The random craft recipe may work. I guess I'll save everything that I possibly have and YOLO this to try to get a Howler's Call, a Seeping Bile, or a Blood-Soaked Jade or something. But those are the things in the game that you're really going to be hunting for that are going to separate you from other players. If you have your full set with a bunch of good stats, that's going to give you an advantage. They drop in dungeons. Exactly where and what difficulties, Blizzard will let us know on launch. That's where you get them. The legendary powers, remember to do a lot of dungeons, a lot of grinding. Make sure that you do the Ancient Arena in Bilefen. And remember, your Paragon level matters. The higher the Paragon, the better the items that you get. And attack the vault. Especially if you become the Immortals, look in the vault and see what they've got. That's where you can get the triple stat legendaries, pump up your ORDR, and then you're going to be dominating in PvE. And then legendary gems, of course. 5-star, legendary crests, swipe the credit card, Blood-Soaked Jade. You're going to be the strongest on the server. Hope this video helped you. There will be many more coming. Going to come up with some leveling guides, and we're going to dive into a lot of the other different events in the game and the factions and teach you guys how to dominate. Thank you.